Hi, so my name is Rebecca Jackson and I am my fourth year at Western University studying arts and humanities. So I came to Western for two main reasons. The first reason was because I really always wanted to have that international and specifically North American experience, and Western definitely offered me that opportunity, just seeing as it has such a great student life and everything. And the second reason was because I got into a program called SASA, which is the School for Advanced Studies in Arts and Humanities. And that was a really great opportunity for me because I was always super excited about studying arts and humanities in general, but didn't necessarily know exactly what aspect I wanted to go into. And SASA offered me that opportunity to really study all the versatile elements of arts and humanities. And that was definitely a big choosing point for me in coming to Western specifically. I would definitely say, make sure you take the time to pick the right school for you. And I don't just mean picking the right school academically for you, I mean picking the right school for you in terms of obviously social life as well, but also a place that you want to live. Because when you, as an international student, you change school, you're not only moving away to study, you're also uprooting your entire life essentially and having to kind of start a whole new aspect of your life and meet a lot of new people. And I mean, if you really want to live in a big city and that's always been your dream, then, Western might not be the school for you. Whereas if you're someone who really cares more about building that close-knit community, then it could be the best option. But it's just making sure that you do that research to know what the right place for you definitely is. And that can be time consuming, but it's definitely time that's well spent and you should definitely use. Picking a bank is also something that's incredibly important. What's important, I think, is making sure that firstly, the bank will work with your home bank. You want to make sure that the bank is one that is a partner of your home bank so that they can get transfers through fast, things like that, that if anything comes up, you can definitely communicate with your home bank and it's not going through 100 different channels. You don't want to make it any more difficult than necessary. And then also making sure that, like I said, that, they're making wire transfers don't take 5 days, that you can get one that comes through in 2 days. I'm with Scotiabank and they usually get things through within 2 business days tops, and I'm sure most banks will as well, but making sure that it's one that will work with your home country to do that is super important and also something you need to look into. There are definitely some challenges that are very specific to international students. I would say one of these is homesickness. Obviously all first year students really deal with that change of moving away from home, but for international students I think that can definitely be amplified just because of the fact that you're not only moving away from home to study, you're moving away from home entirely. And as an international student, it's very likely that you'll also have to deal with time differences and different things like that. And it can be hard if you know that you can't talk to your parents for that many hours a day, if you know you can only reach out to your really close friends and family in the morning at 7 a.m. That can definitely be a difficult change, and it can suck that sometimes there's just not the chance to speak to people. Staying in contact with people is definitely something that's being facilitated incredibly by the internet. And you will always be able to, send a text or find that small amount of time that you do have. And then also Western does a really great job of building a community so that of course you're gonna miss your family and it's not like you can replace them with other people, but you can also build a new community there that can really definitely help you feel less homesick and instead build a new home at Western too. There's also definitely a culture shock that you have to deal with. When I came to Western, everything was just so new, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, for me it was super great. I remember going into Walmart and being this is the most amazing place I've ever been, they have everything. But at times it can also be a bit overwhelming just because absolutely everything is different as well. And it can take a bit to acclimatize to that. So it's just being prepared for the fact that things are definitely going to be different to what you're used to. There can be days that it can be a lot to deal with, but there's also going to be days that it's super exciting. So knowing that that might happen is just something to keep in mind and to be prepared for, in the good and the bad ways. It's really important to join clubs. At least I think it's definitely very important to join clubs. I joined a lot of clubs in my first year just to get to know people, to join different things, to learn about what I'm interested in, because when you're in your first year of university, it's really a great opportunity to see things that you might be interested in that you had never even thought about. That being said, I also think it's incredibly important to get involved in things that you're specifically interested in. If you're interested in theater, then join theater. If you're interested in sports, join a different sports group. They have so many intramurals, it's crazy. I play water polo, it's super fun. Would recommend if you like sports. But what I will definitely say is make sure that the things you pick are things that you genuinely want to do, whether that's because you've been long-term passionate about them or because it's something you've always wanted to do. But don't just join clubs because of the fact that you think that it will look good on your resume. It's always great to have extracurriculars, but I guarantee you can pick an extracurricular that also you'll enjoy as opposed to just one that you think will look great and make you look good. And if you join ones that you genuinely like, you'll also be able to make real connections with people and make friends, because if you have those things in common, then it's really such a great icebreaker to really meet new people and build that community that we've already said is so important as an international student. Building that new home for yourself, and definitely clubs can be a great part of that. We have really great mental health and also physical health opportunities. There is the WEC, which is the Wellness Education Center, and then also Student Health Center, which has both physical health options and also mental health options. In terms of the mental health options, I think it's so important to understand that your mental health is something that you need to watch out for and look after, especially with all the new changes. And Western does a really good way of making it really accessible. So the fact that you can go to the WEC and it's just drop in, and you can go whenever you want and just get some pamphlets and find out some information before you necessarily were to go into that potential crisis is really great. And then also for just a bit more serious in terms of mental health, there's also counselors that you can go to, professional counselors that you can talk to about different things. And they'll always find a space for you, even if it does take a week or two. They'll always find that ability to really talk to you about stuff and be there to support you, which I think is really important, because you don't want to feel alone. And sometimes it's not that you even want to talk to your friends. Sometimes it's really important to get professional help, and Western makes that really easy by having that on the campus, so you don't feel like it's a huge stress to go somewhere else, or it's right there, so you don't have to worry that much, and it's not another thing that you have to be concerned about when you're already dealing with your mental health. So I think that's really important and really great. And then also for just physical health, we also have our health services, which are also on campus. So even if you're just feeling a bit unwell, it's great that you can go to the doctor right there, and they usually have appointments within the same week. So it's not like you're waiting for ages or anything, or have to go to a second doctor downtown. And just having those different things on campus, I think for me made a really big difference in first year, because it can be hard to take your health into your own hands, especially when you're in your first year and you maybe used to rely on your parents to help you or support you in these places. And having Western make it as easy as possible, I think is really, really great. In terms of living on residence, for me, it was really important to live on residence because I think that it's an opportunity to meet new people. I would say that if you have the ability and it's possible to live on residence, I would definitely say you should do it, just because being able to meet all these new people, and the way that Western, and I'm sure many other universities kind of design residence, is in a way that you can meet so many people through different events that are going on within your residences. And that's really great because it takes a lot of the pressure off of you to meet lots of people, because there's always stuff going on, so it kind of just happens naturally. And then in terms of your floor itself, I mean, my floor had really great floor meetings, and we did lots of stuff together, which was really, really great. Just in terms of getting to know people and really building those friends that are with you and that live with you, and you can really spend that time together and get close to people. I would definitely say make sure that you sleep. It's so great to be involved with everything, and I'm big on getting sure that you can be involved as many things as you want, but also make sure that you're putting yourself first. If sometimes you gotta say, I can't go to this tonight because I need to go to sleep, that's absolutely fine. And I think that it can be really hard for first years because you definitely want to get involved in everything and you feel a lot of FOMO, but it's fine if you miss 1 or 2 parties or you miss 1 or 2 events, because there's going to be so many more. And it's just important to keep that in your mind, that you can still make these great friends and these great communities without necessarily going to every single thing. And that can be hard to deal with in the beginning, but it's something that's really important to negotiate.